Welcome to Memorial Cooking Innovations. I'm Tim Scallon, registered dietitian.
And I'm Manuel Marini, executive chef. How are you?
Doing good. How about
Awesome.
you, Chef Manny?
Not too bad, not too bad.
You know, we've got a really good show today. We're going to introduce some really interesting foods. But before we do that, I want to introduce a new concept to you today. The concept is inflammation. And inflammation is kind of an up-and-coming current topic in health. And, well, you know, Chef Manny, did you ever stub your toe?
Oh, definitely, all the time.
It swells, it gets red. Well, that's the process of inflammation. Inflammation is when it's our body's way of healing itself.
Okay.
So you stub your toe, the chemicals in your blood change, and this starts the process bringing repair parts, nutrients, blood, oxygen, all to heal this wound.
So what do you think about our ingredients?
Well, we have some inflammatory ingredients and some anti-inflammatory ingredients. And the point here is not to eat all anti-inflammatories, but to balance them so that you're not eating all French fries, for example, which are very inflammatory. You're eating some inflammatory and a lot of anti-inflammatory. Okay? Good. And so we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through the show, but I just wanted to introduce this topic of inflammation. I want to say one more thing about that. Inflammation has been shown as a predictor of chronic disease, like, for example, heart disease. Okay, so with that, Chef Manny, what are we cooking today?
Today we got a good, nice, kind of like a spring, a tasty, zesty tomato salad. Ooh. With a little avocados, onions, a little lemon, fresh garlic, a little basil. We'll
Sounds
do that.
light
That's
and
gonna
delicious.
It's really good. And then we're gonna top it off with remember the old traditional tuna casserole?
Yes.
Well, we're gonna step it up a little notch. We're gonna add a couple of little things here and there and make it a little more exciting. Of course, a lot healthier than the traditional. You know,
tuna noodle casserole is one of those things that is, for some people, it's a comfort food. And so it's neat that we're bringing this together. I think a lot a people will connect to this.
And then a nice, fun little dessert would be a nice lemon pudding.
Ooh, okay.
We're going to add low-fat, low sour cream.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll be fun with pineapples, of course. So it's going to be great.
Okay. All right.
Real simple to make.
Well, let's get started on this tasty tomato salad.
I got these nice Roma tomatoes. We're just going to take the seed off here. And then we're going to cut them in quarters, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to get this ready. But if you don't mind passing me that silver bowl behind you, Tim.
Yes.
We're going to get started. While I do this, while I cut these tomatoes real quick, I'm going to get you started. You're going to do here's a spoon, because we're just going to lightly do the vinaigrette, okay?
All right.
We're going to add a little bit of...
do I get to whisk?
Well, you get to spoon
I get to spoon this time, okay.
Yeah.
Well, spooning's kind of fun.
Spooning is fun.
Okay,
all right. We're going to add the oil. We're going to add a little bit of garlic.
Little garlic, okay. Comme ça?
Yep, very good.
Okay.
Add a little pinch of salt and pepper, if you don't mind.
Just a pinch?
Just a pinch.
Okay. This is one of the differences in our method of cooking. Instead of overpowering with that salt, just a pinch.
You can always add, but you can't take out.
That's right. And then a pinch of pepper, did you tell me?
Pinch of pepper, yes.
Okay. All right.
You know what we're going to do is we're going to roll up the basil.
Yeah.
And then julienne it.
Okay, just like you've shown us. You know, Chef Manny, just last night, I made some pasta, and I was thinking, how would Chef Manny do this? I went out to my herb garden on the deck, had cut fresh basil, and you know I cut it just like you did just then.
There you go.
Not as fast, but just like that.
You'll get there, Tim.
Yeah. I guess it's just a practice thing, huh?
Just a little practice.
You know, Miss Yana Ogletree, our producer, was telling me that she went home last week and made all the recipes that we did, and they turned out pretty good. She wasn't quite satisfied, but it's a practice thing, isn't it?
Yes.
So if you try these recipes, they don't work out, you got to practice. All right, now show me how you just open that, because I struggle with this.
Well, it's pretty simple. Just kind of center the avocado, right?
Yeah. And
then just go all the way through, just slowly to the bone.
Yeah.
Or the seed.
Yeah.
And then just twist them.
Then twist it, and then it comes out.
And
okay, now get that seed out for me.
Ta-da.
That's all there is to it. Now see, I try to take a spoon and wiggle that thing out, and it goes bouncing across the kitchen floor.
One thing that I like to do is to peel the avocado. If they're a little overripe, then, you know, just a spoon, a nice spoon, just pull it out like that.
I was just going to do that because this was a trick that actually someone else showed me.
And I'll tell you what, there you go. There's the other one.
And I don't know if you've ever seen anybody do this, but look. Is that how you would do it? No?
Definitely.
Okay.
But you can go ahead and put it,
this right in here?
in there, yes.
Okay.
And that's me right here.
Yours come out prettier doing it that way,
There you go.
but I thought, you know, that's an interesting way to do that because, you know, before I learned this trick, I thought, okay, peeling this avocado, and you know, the thing's slippery on the outside, and if you're not careful, you'll throw it into the living room.
I'm going to grab the other tomato. We're going to do 2 of them for me and you.
Okay. All right, so you're kind of scaling this down on
and the reason, you know, we don't want to waste too much, you know, the prices of tomatoes nowadays because of the freeze.
You know,
weather.
Our recipe serves 6, and so this is going to be half the recipe.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Roughly.
Okay. Well, and that's an important point because in avocados, you know, as dietitians, we used to kind of discourage the use of avocados because they're so high in fat. But actually, it's a very good fat. It's a monounsaturated, and, you know, good meaning that it helps lower our blood cholesterol. And so in this recipe, which the full recipe serving 6 calls for 2 avocados, if you scaled it to 3 people, that'd be 1 avocado. So in this recipe, you're basically getting 1/3 of an avocado. Well, that doesn't sound like a lot of difference, but if you figure that 1 avocado can provide as much as 45% of your daily needs for fat, that's a lot.
It is. So what do you think about that?
This is beautiful.
Wait, we haven't finished yet. Now we're going to squeeze a little fresh lemon.
Ooh, this is beautiful.
Okay, you notice we didn't use vinegar. We're going to use the citrus from the, and then we're going to plate that up, okay? So we'll just go ahead
beautiful.
and squeeze it.
You know, I used to keep lemon juice in the fridge just because, you know, it's a way to, it stores so easily. Now I'm going to let you do this part because this is where the artist comes out.
Well, I was just going to flip it over like that.
Yeah, but when you flip, it's a lot better than when I flip. Here.
There you go.
That is beautiful.
If you don't mind putting it up there
Voila.
for us.
Okay.
That was pretty simple though, right?
Yeah.
It didn't take a lot of prep.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you do that maybe a couple of hours ahead, put it in the refrigerator nice and cold, ready for lunch, dinner. Perfect.
Ooh, okay. Beautiful. Light, delicious, fresh. Okay, now let's talk about inflammation for just a minute. Okay, so, you know, the doctors will sometimes prescribe baby aspirin to help reduce our risk for stroke. Well, guess what? Aspirin is an anti-inflammatory, okay? And you know what? Certain foods are anti-inflammatory, just like aspirin. And so, for example, these tomatoes are mildly anti-inflammatory. The avocados are mildly anti-inflammatory. The onions are very anti-inflammatory. So if you're going to make a salad and you like onions, boy, include those on your sandwich.
Does that, are we talking about green onions, red onions, just the whole onion
well,
family?
in general, now this is a new science, and so they haven't actually categorized all the foods.
But white onion, yellow onions.
You can actually go on a website called nutritionfacts.com and you can look up anti-inflammatory foods. But to answer your question, we could probably say generally onions. But you know what? Talking about putting that onion on a sandwich, and I did this the other night when I was cooking. I went out and got the basil from the herb garden. I noticed how you had diced those onions, not diced them, but you had sliced them very thin. And, you know, I don't know, it just made it taste better for some reason.
Good.
Maybe because the onions are strong flavored and when you slice them thinly, there's...
But also remember, you got to have a sharp knife. Because
okay.
if you put too much pressure, you're actually squeezing the flavor, the nutrition out of the onion. So just a nice sharp knife and do it.
Okay, all right.
Ready for the next one?
Yes.
The tuna casserole.
Yes. Okay, only
Actually, it's a penne pasta.
Penne pasta.
Penne pasta tuna. But it's basically almost the same style, but we're just going to bring it up another notch on this
in
one.
a Mediterranean style.
In a Mediterranean, yeah, definitely.
And you know, we end up doing a lot of cooking in the Mediterranean style because, you know, the Mediterranean diet is healthy. What's the basic oil that's used in the Mediterranean diet?
Olive oil.
Yeah. And our recipes, you always see us specify extra virgin olive oil. Now, Chef Manny, why do you like extra virgin olive oil?
I like it for the flavor, the texture, and it's a healthier oil.
That's right. And of course, here, the dietitian's going to say that it's healthier because it's a monounsaturated fat. Don't take your eye off that onion.
You tried that once, didn't you, Tim?
I did. Boy, that hurt too. So that monounsaturated in that olive oil is the same as what's in that avocado, which lowers our blood cholesterol.
Okay. First, we're going to saute our onions, right?
Okay.
We're going to sweat our onions.
Yeah.
For just I'd say about a minute and a half or so.
You see the recipes, they'll say saute until translucent. And I always thought that was an interesting way to describe that.
Exactly, and that's just to get the flavor out.
Yeah.
We can smell it now as it is. I'm going to put this one right here if you don't mind.
Okay.
Then we're going to just saute these.
Okay.
Then we're going to add our mushrooms.
All right.
I might add a few of these.
Okay.
Now we are going to cook the mushrooms. Now the recipe calls for a little cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
But I thought since we had these wonderful Roma tomatoes, I'm just going to dice some big chunks.
Yes.
Okay. But cherry tomatoes are really good.
But Roma tomatoes are a lot less expensive.
They are.
If you look in the grocery store, they're the least expensive tomatoes.
That is true.
And they cook well too. Have you noticed that?
They do. They do. They do. The color, the flavor. We're gonna the garlic. I'm gonna save for the last.
You always like to do garlic last.
I am gonna put the peas.
English peas.
The English peas. Yes.
Okay. My cherry tomato plants in the garden have blooms on them.
Really?
Yep. Starting to bloom.
So we're just sauteing this. We're gonna bring it up, and we're gonna add a little bit of white wine. Let it reduce. Then we'll add our tuna.
Okay.
Cook it up a little bit. We'll add the tomatoes and the spinach.
Okay.
And then sprinkle a little lemon juice to it.
Okay, so in this recipe, you mentioned tuna noodle casserole, and this is that home recipe that kind of the Americans developed. I wonder if they didn't develop it from something like this originally.
And it could be.
Of course, what do we use to flavor that tuna noodle casserole? Cheese.
Lots of it.
Lots of cheese.
So this right here is going to give it that flavor. And we do have a little cheese.
Yeah.
Just a little.
It's
a
a garnish, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so why is cheese so bad? Well, it's not bad. It's just that cheese is a source of saturated fat, cholesterol, and it's high in sodium. So if you use it just like that salt in moderation for flavor and for flavor.
For flavor.
Yeah, but you're not overpowering it like in that traditional tuna noodle casserole where that's all you taste.
Right. And I have to admit, it does taste good.
Well, it does. It does.
It's just not good for us.
Yeah, but I like the way you approach cooking with the concept of balance. That fits very well with my training as a dietitian. Memorial Cooking Innovations is a collaboration of Sodexo Food Service and Memorial Health System of East Texas, where we're bringing the talents of a certified chef together with a registered dietitian right into your home. And in your home, we're showing you how you can prepare delicious meals, recipes that a chef and a dietitian have developed, and they taste great.
Taste great.
Yeah.
And good for you.
And they're healthy.
And good for you.
That's right.
And it doesn't mean you can't go out to a nice fancy restaurant. Instead of, we're just going to kind of bring that recipe to more healthier.
Bring that fancy restaurant into the home, huh?
That's it.
Okay, so you've added some tuna. We've got
some tuna. Now I'm sauteing it, heating it up.
Okay.
We're going to just give it a few minutes to get its flavor.
I can smell.
You can smell that, right?
Yeah, I can smell the onion. I can smell the tuna. I can even smell those mushrooms.
You know what? A little spicy, huh?
Okay.
A little bit of the chili.
Red pepper flakes. Yeah.
Okay. We're
Gives just a little bit of
just
kick,
a pinch.
Huh?
Then we'll put our pinch of black pepper.
Mm-hmm. I like that crushed red pepper. I like the pick that it adds.
It has a little bite to it, right?
Yeah.
Very little salt. The tuna has salt.
Yeah.
The Parmesan cheese is going to have a little salt, so we don't want to put too much salt.
Well, and I noticed that in our recipe, we're using a tuna packed in water. That's a good place to save some calories. Now, if you're strictly watching your sodium, now this recipe will meet American Heart Association guidelines. But if you want to do better than that, you could also choose the tuna that is a low sodium.
Low sodium.
That's a little more expensive. But you can get tuna packed in water that's also low sodium. This one is just the packed in water tuna. Look at the color in that dish. Hold that up right here, Chef Manny. And
just so everybody
hold
will
that
see.
up just a little bit more. That's just beautiful. Red, green, white, beautiful.
So we just got to cook it off just a little longer. Then we'll throw in the pasta.
I smell that wine in there too.
It is. Good, nice smell.
Now this is not unlike the dish that I made last night. It was it was the same concept. I cooked the pasta on the side, and while I was cooking the pasta, I sautéed onions, garlic, and some olive oil. I added the tomatoes and some white wine, and I learned on this one. I added some vegetable broth, but we were talking earlier, and we had too much
broth.
Yeah, too much liquid.
Too much liquid.
Yeah.
So yes, you can cook everything off.
And by the time I had reduced my liquid down, the tomatoes were overcooked, and so I learned. Okay, so less liquid. I learned that from you today, and then also I learned don't put those tomatoes in so soon.
Right.
So. And then I did a similar thing. I added the penne pasta, that fresh basil out of the herb garden, and just a touch of Parmesan, just for a little flavor.
Tim, we're going to add a little bit of spinach.
Okay.
Just going to cut this up a
You're just
little
going to
bit.
kind of make it like bite size, huh?
Yeah. We want that. See, it's getting a nice color.
You know,
now, spinach cooks really quick if you're sauteing or stuff.
Yeah.
I like to save it at the end.
So just put
because
it at the end.
because it wilts so fast.
Did you get that garlic in there?
No, we're going to save that for last.
Okay.
We're going to save that one for last, Tim.
That's your own unique, what you like to do with garlic, huh?
Yes, I like the garlic flavor. Everything is, it's got its unique flavor.
Yeah.
It's got its goods and bads,
Yeah.
right? So mostly all good. Garlic is good for you.
Oh yeah, garlic is a good food.
So once
you know,
this gets
spinach is high in magnesium, and they've learned that magnesium helps our bodies to use insulin better. So if you're diabetic, or even if you're not diabetic, how we use insulin, spinach is a good thing to include on a regular basis. And you know, as I continue to do this show, and of course, you know, I like to learn about food and nutrition. That's why I'm a dietitian. But it has changed what gets on my grocery list. You know, I didn't used to get avocados every week. Avocados right now, by the way, are just they're at their peak of their season right now. So all your avocados are really good. But spinach is another one of those things. Well, you know, spinach, it's okay. I don't really.
Well, you know, really, spinach, it's how you do it, how you make it, what you combine with it. Lemon, pepper, you know, saute with a little olive oil, lemon.
Yeah.
Squeeze a little fresh lemon and then some fresh ground black pepper.
Yeah.
It is wonderful. It's a wonderful
So
vegetable.
saute it.
Saute
like
it lightly because it, you know, like I said, it cooks fast.
Well, and you know what I learned
It's a great vegetable.
Well, it's versatile. You can do so much with it. I had some guests, and we made. Remember frittata? We made frittata on the show. Well, I had spinach in the fridge. It's great in a frittata, nice and colorful and delicious.
Smells so good.
Yeah, and you know, you can also, instead of having lettuce on your sandwich that you're making, why not use spinach? It's got a sweet, delicious flavor. It's a real good substitution for lettuce, and a lot higher in nutritional value. Nothing wrong with lettuce. That's just beautiful, Chef Manny.
And then we're just going to top it off with a little Parmesan.
Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, now I'm going to add one more touch. You know, black pepper, there's nothing unhealthy about that. And just look at that. See how
Beautiful.
that adds? I took that liberty. I hope you don't mind.
Not at all. Not at all, Tim. We're going to eat it shortly.
Okay, I'm getting hungry. All right.
It smells good, too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we've talked about inflammation today, and there's some vegetables that are inflammatory and some that are anti-inflammatory. And in these recipes, we're using a lot of anti-inflammatories: the spinach, the tomato, the onions, the avocado. And so what's interesting when you start looking up which foods are which, you run across some surprises. Okay, so I put in red meat. I put in ground beef, expecting it to be inflammatory. Well, it's not. It's mildly anti-inflammatory. Okay, so I put in skim milk. Well, it's mildly inflammatory. So this is not a be-all, end-all on healthy eating. Okay, there are books on how to eat the inflammatory diet. There's a diet book about everything. And so the point here is that this isn't the whole story. This is part of how we can improve our health with foods. And I was telling that story of inflammation, stubbing your toe. Well, if that injury that we were talking about occurs on the inside of your blood vessel, and this isn't like I cut my finger injury. This is like a blood surging through the blood vessel at enormous pressures because of the beat of your heart. So this is part of normal living. When that injury occurs, your body mobilizes its inflammation process to put a patch on that inside that blood vessel wall, and over time that patch can grow into a plaque. And I think we all know the rest of this story.
Yeah.
The buildup of plaque, hardening of the arteries is the root cause of heart disease.
That's good information.
Yeah, and so this is a way that we can support our body's processes in a healthy way. Okay, so you're ready to do our next recipe, and this one is?
This one is going to be our lemon pineapple dessert.
Luscious lemon pineapple dessert.
Luscious.
When we were talking about the name of this recipe, we were talking with Bobby Florence, one of the cooks.
Baker.
Yeah, the baker in our dietary department. And so we were trying on all these different names for this recipe. And Bobby helped us to pick this name. She said, well, luscious lemon pineapple dessert sounds better than anything else you
does.
said. So,
and the word, after we taste it,
yeah,
it's going to be wonderful. Okay, the ingredients are low-fat sour cream.
Oh, here, let me hand you that.
If you don't mind.
Okay. And
we got our
lemon pudding
sugar-free.
mix. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do, if you don't mind, you're going to mix it, okay?
I get to mix it?
You get to mix it, but you're going to fold it. We're just going to fold.
Okay, so with folding, I'm trying to gently mix. Would you agree with that?
Gently mix. We don't want to whip it.
Okay.
We want to gently mix. So
they wrote a song about that. Whip it. Yeah. I don't think they were talking about cooking, but at any rate.
Tim, I don't think so. Let me borrow this spoon. So go ahead.
So you're going to add this pineapple, and
you're going
to include the juice.
Pineapple.
I notice.
Yes, we want that flavor.
So I'm going to fold this in. You know what's interesting about this recipe when we started developing it? There's no cooking. You're choosing. Your pudding is a instant pudding. It's fat-free and sugar-free, so it's like there's nothing in it except flavor. And when we were testing this recipe, we wanted to make sure it would work. You've got a dry pudding mix, but there's no liquid in it. Well, it's the liquid in the. Is that folded okay?
Yeah, keep going just a little more.
It's the liquid.
Make sure it mixes well.
It's the liquid in the pineapple. Well, okay, so we had to test this recipe. I got to tell this story. And one of our dietitians, Miss Tanya Lindsay, Tanya works here at Memorial with the patients in ICU, and she likes lemon, but she's not too fond of pineapple. She said, you could ruin a good lemon pudding with pineapple. And so that made me think there may be other people that like lemon, but they're not too fond of pineapple. So we started talking about, well, how could we make this more lemony if you want to downplay the pineapple?
And you could add a little more, some of this more pudding mix. Mm-hmm. But my suggestion would be the zester. Grab some of those lemon zests.
Oh, okay.
Give it that nice lemon flavor to it. If it's heavy on the pineapple.
And for those who don't know lemon zest, if they're new to our show,
it's the skin of it's a little grater that we normally use to bring in to scrape the lemons or the limes.
So it's a lemon peel. The zest is just the peel of the lemon, which is where a lot of the flavor is.
A lot.
Okay. You like that?
That's beautiful right there.
Okay. And so I like that suggestion, adding the lemon zest, because that doesn't alter your nutritional if you do that. Whereas if you were to add more pudding mix, that would change, how many calories, how many grams of sodium, etc. This is pretty, isn't it?
It is.
Now this is one of those things that, did you notice how I was carefully folding with that spoon?
Comes out real nice.
We
nice
could,
and smooth.
but you know
We'll put it right here.
what we could do is, this is one of those recipes that is good to include the kids on. You know, kids
Oh,
like
they'll
to
love
stir.
this. They'll love this. Good, healthy.
Yeah, it's a
Nice
healthy
flavor.
thing. So you can teach your children about what are the choices on the pudding mix aisle. You know, there's the one that has a lot of sugar. There's also,
And they got a nice variety of sugar-free pudding mix.
Yep.
Tapioca.
Yep.
There was
Chocolate.
chocolate,
Yep.
vanilla,
Yep.
lemon.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a nice
And
variety.
and that's another really versatile food that you can you can create a lot of desserts with a sugar-free or a fat-free or both pudding. So including the kids teaches them a valuable skill. Teaches them that cooking is fun. It also encourages kids to eat something different. You know, I think you were talking about a commercial or a show.
A show that we
you
did with the kids. And by them helping me clean spinach, do the snow peas, cut the broccoli, and we made a nice little pasta primavera, stuff like that. But they enjoyed it because they were involved in it.
So you had kids eating
From,
spinach.
3 years old to 12, 13-year-olds.
Okay.
So that was fun. And they enjoyed it because they were part of it.
And you know, these days, I know a lot of people have heard about childhood obesity. And one of the issues with childhood obesity is kids don't always learn what their options are. You know, the Children's Lifestyle Intervention Program, the CLIP study that Memorial did in conjunction with the Lufkin Middle School, they showed that when you presented kids with healthy information, that they could not only lose weight, and this is just teaching them healthy lifestyle, activity, here's some healthy options. They could not only lose weight, but you know they could improve their blood values as well.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we do a lot of recipes here. Every month we've got a new show, and you may be new to our show, or you may hear us talk about a recipe we've done in the past. If you've missed something, you can go on memorialhealth.org, and you can see not only our current show, but past shows. You can download the recipes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Past recipes, too.
Yeah, that's right. And so real good opportunity. You can also go on YouTube and see the show. And so definitely check us out on memorialhealth.org. Also, you know, we don't want to pass up an opportunity to mention our sponsors, Brookshire Brothers. A lot of the food that you see us prepare, we go and get at Brookshire Brothers. In fact, we got the lemon pudding mix at Brookshire's, as well as some of the other things. I think this wine came from Brookshire Brothers. We've also got coming up the totally awesome, Dr. Bill Shelton's totally awesome fishing adventure. That's on May 1st at Castle Boykins Park. And you know, all the proceeds from that big event go to help patients in our cancer center right
That
here
is
at
so
Memorial.
nice, huh?
Isn't that cool?
All these volunteers out there to have a good time and then help others.
And you know, the springtime right now, it's just perfect for getting out and playing outside. And you know, the more we play outside, the more we burn calories. We get to come in and eat healthy food that we learned from Chef Manny on Memorial Cooking Innovations. You know, how much better can it get?
Excellent.
Okay, so is it time to try?
Sure is. Let's start off with this.
Yep, we've got to try this
This is driving me crazy right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks so good.
This is just so delicious. I mean, it's. I have already tasted this with my eyes. It's
Definitely.
so colorful and delicious.
Let me get a.
All right.
That is so good, huh? It smells great.
You know, you could be on a Mediterranean cruise eating that right there. Okay. I'm getting the signal. It's time for us to stop. We've enjoyed working with you this show. Join us next month. Chef Manny, good show.
Good.